Hello, my name is Brad Scott, and I'm from originally North Dakota. I'm living in Scottsdale now. I have cancer. It's a very difficult and ugly cancer, rare. It's called sarcoma cancer, and the particular kind I have is a very rare, extreme type of the sarcoma even. When I first found out about the cancer, I had thought I'd pulled a muscle in my glute and my left side working out, and it continued to get worse and worse to the point where I couldn't walk. And I had gone into the doctor 3 times to get something to help, and they hadn't done anything. So when I finally went back after about 5 months, they took the first x-ray and identified it as a sarcoma cancer and immediately sent me to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota for treatment. The treatment was designed to be starting out as a chemotherapy for 5 days at a time in the hospital, and a very difficult, very high dosage of chemo, and it was supposed to be 3 months of that, and then start radiation and then do surgery. The chemo didn't do any good. After 2 months of nearly dying from the chemo, I went down and had tests in Rochester again after I refused to do the 3rd month, and we found out that it was not helping at all. Matter of fact, the tumor had exponentially grown. They immediately moved to radiation. I took 7 weeks of radiation, 5 treatments a week, 35 treatments. And then from that, shortly thereafter, we did the surgery. They indicated to me that they're likely going to have to do a hemipelvectomy, which simply means half. Take half my body off from the leg all the way up to here. And then when they went to open me up the day of the surgery, they realized that it had moved to my lungs already, metastasized to my lungs. So they decided to, for quality of life purposes, to leave the leg attached. But they did go in and remove the tumor, as much of it as they could, and they were successful in cutting it out to getting negative margins. The tumor was the size of a coconut that they took out of my left glute. I can show you if you want the surgery. They cut me open 24 inches from up here all the way down to the bottom of my leg. My gluteus maximus was on the table. They removed the tumor, put it back together, compromised my walking, and then the tumor came back 3 months later. I had multiple radiation treatments, I had 23 more days of radiation, 46 treatments twice a day. So I've had 81 treatments altogether, and it's burnt through my skin. Radiation was not as tough as the chemo, but it was no cakewalk either. It took a lot of energy to get through it. I was pretty much wiped out the whole day, getting 2 treatments a day at that high dosage. What's happened with my leg now is it's real brittle, the bones, so they're very likely to snap or break. So I got to be very careful when I walk, and I can't lift anything more than a gallon in my left hand to avoid carrying anything with that left hand. I'm on a cane now. Fortunately, I can still walk. I was on a walker for about 4 months, and then eventually, through therapy, got to a cane. This week I found out again that we started the chemo again, I should say that, this year. I did 5 more months of that every 3 weeks. And we went in for testing to find out how those 5 treatments were doing. And the cancer in my lungs has grown from about the size of a lead pencil to about the size of my thumb in that period of time. And it's around my air passage in my right lung now, to the point where I risk having a collapsed lung or blocked passage if I can't get the cancer to stop growing. So Mayo down here in Rochester, or down here in Scottsdale, wants to go forward with palliative radiation treatments on my lung, just to keep it from preventing it from potentially collapsing. So things aren't going well. Seem to be down that vicious circle of having fewer and fewer options every day. So when I found out about Dr. Cecil's program, I was intrigued. I've done detox in the past with OHI and another program elsewhere, so I'm a little bit familiar with it. Both times I've done detox, I felt better, but I never stayed with a healthy diet that complemented the detox. And so I'm excited to try to go through the 21-day program and stay with a healthy diet and see if I can't resolve my cancer growth issues in my lungs. If not, I think my days are probably numbered. So, anyway, that's my story. We'll see what happens.